Good evening and a warm welcome. I'm Griha Atul and you're watching Plain Speak. In what many are calling one of the biggest political jolts in recent years, a Delhi court has formally framed charges against Lalu Prasad Yadav, Rabri Devi and Tejashwi Yadav in the IRCTC hotel corruption case, just weeks before, remember, the much anticipated Bihar assembly elections. On the one hand, the timing raises unavoidable questions about how this will reshape electoral dynamics, and the India bloc, still grappling with internal seat-sharing negotiations, now faces the scepter of legal controversy hanging over its most prominent partner. On the other hand, the accused parties argue that this is political vendetta, a tactic to derail their campaign through judicial pressure, in fact. So tonight we explore whether this legal blow meaningfully weakens RJD's clout and credibility in the eyes of the voters, and will it impact coalition negotiations and the morale within the Mahagathbandhan. But before we do that, here's a lowdown of the charges that have been framed against Lalu Prasad Yadav and family. Now, this is what charge number 1 looks like. This really talks about Lalu engaging in conspiracy and abusing his position as a public servant. The court, in fact, has found prima facie that the abuse of power was integral to the alleged scheme. If we take a look at charge number 2, it is also giving a lowdown on how Lalu Prasad Yadav influenced the tender and eligibility conditions were manipulated. The court, in fact, holds that the tender process was tailored to favor a chosen bidder. Charge number 3. This particular charge is talking about how Lalu Prasad Yadav conspired for undervalued purchase of land parcels. Evidence also suggests that the acquisition of prime land at rates far below the market value was in fact made. Charge number 4. This one is in fact talking about how there were material modifications that were made in the tender process. The court in fact goes on to note that alterations in terms and timeline midstream was done. Charge number 5 is talking about how Lalu Prasad Yadav went on to intervene and influence the pace of the transfer of the hotels. The order in fact also states that he influenced the timing and the terms of asset transfer. Charge number 6 is talking about the undervalued land. Here we're talking about land parcels that were given to Lalu Prasad Benami companies at much lower rates, 90% less than the market value price. And these undervalued land parcels in fact came to vest with Rabri Devi and also Tejashwi Yadav. The court in fact finds that these properties ultimately ended in the hands of the Yadav family. Now, this particular case, however, isn't the first to haunt Lalu Prasad Yadav. There are very many cases that have plagued the RJD, particularly the tenure when Lalu Prasad Yadav was the minister. After all, don't we all remember the fodder scam? So let's begin with that and talk about what really that case was all about. So here's a look at that very timeline. Fodder scam. The case particularly was on the misuse of state funds via fake fodder bills. The charge against Lalu Prasad Yadav has been cheating, criminal conspiracy and forgery, and the status of that particular case, and there are many cases, remember, as far as the fodder scam is concerned, that Lalu was convicted in 5 cases so far. So this is where it stands at the moment. The other case, of course, is largely what we're talking about, the IRCTC hotel scam case. The case is about alleged irregularities in awarding these contracts, particularly to Sajata Group of companies. The charge is criminal conspiracy, corruption, money laundering against the Yadav family. The status is that now the charges have been framed against Lalu, Rabri and Tejashwi Yadav. The other case, which by the way is also in fact mistaken for the IRCT scam, but this is a different case altogether, which is the land for job scam. This case is talking about how Group D jobs were given in exchange for land. The charge is criminal conspiracy, all corruption and cheating again. And the status of this particular case is that charges again have been framed, and all the 3, Lalu, Tejashwi and Rabri Devi, are out on bail. So we are asking today, as the IRCTC scam really unveils and the court has framed these charges, the heat is on Lalu Prasad Yadav and company. Is this jolt big enough for the India bloc in the Bihar elections?
शुरू से ही पॉलिटिकल वेंडेटा। जिस व्यक्ति ने 90,000 करोड़ का मुनाफा रेलवे को दिया, हर बजट में किराया कम किया, ऐतिहासिक रेलवे मंत्री के रूप से जानेंगे, देश के लोग जानते हैं कि सच्चाई क्या है।
चारा खाना, अलकतरा पीना, बिटुमिन, सरकारी संपत्ति की बांटने में टेंडर में हेरा फेरी करना और जमीन प्राप्त करना। जमीन दो, नौकरी लो। ये 4 मॉडल है।
Joining us on our first debate this evening on Plain Speak, Manish Baria, spokesperson of the Bharatiya Janata Party, Dr. Pooja Tripathi, spokesperson of the Congress Party, Vikram Singh, former IPS, and also Kailash Adhikari, who is a political analyst. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being a part of this conversation. Mr. Baria, I'll begin with you. The fact that the court has gone on to frame these charges against Lalu Prasad Yadav and company, we're talking about the entire Yadav family that is finding itself in the dock. The response is an obvious one that is coming in from the RJD, that this is vendetta politics. How do you respond, sir?
Good evening to you, and good evening to my co-panelists and all your viewers. Very unfortunate, for the people of Bihar. This is not surprising, though. Every Bihari knows that it is a corrupt family. We call it Chor Chor Mausere Bhai. So, a representative of that is also sitting here, because we get very always surprised that why would Congress party be aligned with such a family which is known with corruption. But then we understand that there are 2 corrupt families, and then there is a natural alliance for 2 corrupt families, and both of them have been pretty corrupt, and they have been found guilty, and that is what has happened in this case. But people of Bihar, they want to punish these 2 parties, right? This entire alliance, because they made up, it's like they've taken things so lightly. He's saying he's putting Lalu Yadav as if he is a messiah, but he is not, right? As Mr. Ravi Shankar Prasad said, that Alkatra bhi khate the, Chara bhi khate the. Zameen to everybody knows in Bihar ki kitna zameen khaya ye log. Matlab naukri ke liye zameen is something which is a common knowledge in Bihar. So I was, as a party, we are not surprised that the court has framed these charges, serious charges of corruption, and that's something they have to pay for it, right? But why should people of Bihar pay for it? And that's so unfortunate that in this time and era, a family is so brazen. A person who is the head of a party is a convicted criminal, right? And he is like moving around everywhere, the party chief, all 3 people, important people of the party, they have been proved to be corrupt. And that's something which people of Bihar are looking at it. I'm sure that they are going to get it at the hustings.
Dr. Pooja Tripathi, the Congress, the Mahagathbandhan did not need this at this point in time when you're getting ready for elections in the state. And of course, that entire big decision on seat sharing is still pending. That announcement also is still pending. First of all, I'd like to understand from you what really happened at that meeting between the Yadavs and Rahul Gandhi today in the capital.
Griya, good evening to everyone. Griya, the meeting is still ongoing between Mr. Gandhi and Tejashwi Yadav at Khargeji's residence. And I'm sure some arrangement, some announcement by the end of the day or tomorrow morning for sure would be, would be made on the formula that we come at the seat sharing thing. And it's just an hour or 2 days. And the meeting is still on. And as far as you said, this I'll not comment on the case because it's sub judice. But as Laluji said that he pleads not guilty and they'll fight it in court. I remember Amit Shah ji a few days back in on his state visit, he said कि तेजस्वी को अगले चुनाव में लड़ने लायक नहीं छोड़ेंगे. So that's political vendetta. That's through and through. That's look at the timing of the case. Look at the timing of the judgment. It's just there's not even 30 days to the state elections. And I'm sure the case has gone. The charges has been framed. They'll fight it out in court, and I'm sure we'll see to it how the case proceeds.
Dr. Tripathi, my question to you is as simple as this. Today's meeting, which is still ongoing, you're saying, has it now shifted to becoming a face-saving exercise for the Mahagathbandhan, considering one of their biggest alliance partners, in this case the RJD, which is dominating the political landscape in Bihar as far as the opposition is concerned, is finding itself implicated in another one of these corruption charges? Has that shifted to the damage control there, or the talks are still ongoing as far as seats are concerned?
The talks are still going on. This is politics, and we see when 96% cases are against opposition leader. Nobody is talking about the 70,000 crore PU certificate stamp, the PMCH medical scam. Ashok Chaudhary is being accused by one of the party leaders, Prashant Kishore, by amassing 200 crore worth by illegal land deals. There's Bihar Green Development Fund scam. There's Srijan scam. There's paddy procurement scam. There's Narega scam. There's SC/ST minority scams. And no action has been taken against these
But Dr.
leaders.
Tripathi, even if you pluralize all these scams, one thing that is standing as a blot for the Mahagathbandhan, particularly the RJD, and I must tell our viewers, the RJD has refrained from coming on this debate, and that's why we have an alliance partner, in this case the Congress party. They did come to me on my broadcast in the morning claiming vendetta politics. They're talking about how CBI is being misused yet again by the Bharatiya Janata Party, it being a caged parrot. But that is the line that the opposition, the India bloc, has been taking ever since, Dr. Tripathi.
But it's not a line, Priya. It's actually lived reality. When I'm saying when 96.4% cases are being against the opposition leaders, and anybody who switches the party, anybody who joins the Bharatiya Janata Party, when I start naming out, I think you'll run out of the time. The number of scams people have been accused of. Modi ji says ki Ajit Pawar, the 50,000 crore ka aadmi, and the next day joins the party, is made the deputy CM. So when we see 0.4% conviction rate and 96% cases against the opposition leaders, Supreme Court has also pulled up ED, and that's where we see the political vendetta through and through. And I think people also see through it, and people will realize that this is just plain politics of revenge.
Let me bring in Vikram Singh here. Mr. Singh, I'd like to understand from you, since you have known about the details of this particular case. It was only in 2017 that this case was registered by the CBI. What took so long? The tenure of Lalu Prasad Yadav was way back.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The CBI especially does work in a very systematic and a scientific manner. It takes the help of financial experts, chartered accountants, the stock market experts, and then it's not like an investigation of a chowki or a police station. These are voluminous investigations and require years and years to finalize. The fact that the court is privy and is cognizant of the investigation and the progress made, and no adverse comment has been made by the present court. To the contrary, I think if there are any allegations about the timing of the court taking cognizance and framing of charges, I would say that the courts and the judiciary are independent, and I would be living in an illusion if I were to say that the court has been influenced by the ruling party.
Okay.
But to the earlier speaker who said that there are scams and there are scams within the ruling party, I would have been very satisfied that if there is equality before law and everybody was charge sheeted with the same gusto and vigor as the case of Lalu Prasad ji, the fodder scam, the IRCTC scam, and the other land for job scam, because there cannot be double standards.
Okay.
Any corruption should have zero tolerance in our democracy. We are about to become the third largest economy in the world, and very soon, if God willing, we can be even still go higher. And then we have to say corruption has no place in our polity, and the time has come when the corrupt will have to go.
But I want your, expert opinion on the FIR copy that we've managed to access. This dates 5th July 2017. And the first line that the FIR copy says, and I'm quoting from it, a preliminary inquiry was registered on the basis of source information to inquire into the allegations of misuse of official position of Shri Lalu Prasad Yadav, alleging that Shri Yadav, after being inducted as the Minister of Railways in May 2004, committed misconduct by colluding with the Kochar brothers. Source information. What does this mean, Mr. Singh? Considering the FIR was in 2017, much later.
Please understand that the preliminary inquiry in itself shows that a lot of spade work and hard work and investigation and inquiries were done before it reduced into an FIR. There's a difference between the registration of an FIR at a police station and that by the CBI. The police station does not have the luxury of indulging and going into the preliminary inquiry. Source information would mean, and the source would mean newspaper reports, complaints, and other channels of intelligence, that is criminal intelligence that are collected. And on the basis of these criminal intelligence, you work upon the premise that a crime has happened, and lo and behold, you have a clear-cut case made under the then law 420 IPC and 120B criminal conspiracy, and that is of course. And the punishment, make no mistake about it, is from 7 years to life and also a fine as well.
So Mr. Kailash Adhikari, I'll bring you in here. If we look at this perspective, is it giving any kind of merit to the charge that the opposition, in this case the Mahagathbandhan, is making, that yet again it's a misuse of central forces right at the time when elections are about to happen in the state of Bihar? This IRCTC case has sprung up once again.
Griha, it has become a fashion of the opposition to always cry about political vendetta. They don't know that how deep they have gone in their own corruption and in their own misdoings. And we all know prior to 2005 what was the state of, in what state was the state of Bihar. When Lalu Prasad Yadav was the chief minister and his family members were running the entire state, the kind of plundering and the loot which they have done has actually brought down the state to a great extent. And it is only after 2005 when Nitish Kumar ji became the chief minister along with the Bharatiya Janata Party in coalition, is when Sushashan actually came to Bihar. And if they feel that, why are these cases getting sprung up or why are they not, they must first look at the fact that, already the FIR was filed, charge sheet was done. And as Dr. Vikram Singh sir just said that, these are investigations which require a detailed investigation. Voluminous reports are prepared, and these are not that fly by night any report is prepared, because it is presented in front of the court of law and it takes a certain time. And all our agencies, the federal law enforcement agencies, they are run by extremely competent people. So when they are presenting in the court of law some evidence, naturally it has merit. So that's time. And if you feel that why this happened now, why this happened then you should actually question yourself that why you did something like that in that time. अपने गिरेबान में पहले ये झांक के देखो कि मैंने ऐसा किया ही क्यों ताकि आज मुझे ये दिन देखना पड़े.
Mr. Barrier, if we talk about RJD particularly, since we have to talk about which way is the poll also going to swing, considering elections in Bihar are not easily called. RJD is already facing too many problems, and as far as the RJD bastion is concerned, there is another third player, that is Prashant Kishore. He is also in fact going to create a mess when it is about the Mahagathbandhan and fighting from that particular seat. Don't you think these things will come at play? And then there is this particular charge of IRCTC scam that is out there to plague the Yadavs. This will cause more confusion in the camp, and so far they were crying foul that it was the NDA that was not able to come to terms with which way the seat sharing is going to swing, but now the ball seems to be in their court.
I would not like to comment on the aspect of Prashant Kishore. That is their party to steal. But I would definitely like to tell you that the young generation of Bihar, for last, the Gen Z, the last 20 years, they have not really had an experience of what this family is all about. And now it is like, fortunately for them, they are looking at what it is. there is a convicted criminal who is the head of the party, who keeps moving on, seems to be quite okay. Whenever he has to go to jail, he falls in. That's a mockery of the justice system also he's making. So,
but Mr. Bario, why do you mention that? And we are putting out these visuals of Lalu Prasad Yadav while he attended court today, the Rouse Avenue court. This also is an emotive point. For many of the RJD supporters, voters in Bihar, don't you think this image will ring?
Absolutely not. Because the voters of this state has seen that charade which he plays every time. Right? He's playing badminton, he's cooking, he's doing everything. But when he has to appear in court, he comes like that. That's the kind of natak he does. We call it nautanki. That's what he's doing. Right? And it is so unfortunate that a convicted criminal is the head of a party. And here we have a spokesperson of Congress talking about Lalu ji having with Rahul ji. I would really urge Congress party first to break the alliance. If they have some respect for Bihari people, the first thing they have to do is to break this alliance and then have the guts to actually fight the election alone or with someone else whom they find it clean. Right?
Mr. Bario, we all know it's easier said than done. Dr. Tripathi, I'd want your inputs on this, considering this is the accusation that's coming directly, fair and square, by the Bharatiya Janata Party, calling this this image of Lalu Prasad Yadav as a mere charade. Your response to that, and the fact that just a while back, even before the Mahagathbandhan went into a huddle wanting to decide on the seat share, there was no consensus on who is going to be the chief ministerial face from the Mahagathbandhan. In fact, still, we do not yet know whether or not Tejashwi's face will be projected as the next chief minister for Bihar from the Mahagathbandhan side. So what is really going on in the Mahagathbandhan camp? What is the confusion all about?
Kriya, we are a democratic Gathbandhan. We are a democratic alliance where every party is an equal member. And it's not कि दिल्ली से एक फोन आ जाता है, जितेंद्र मांझी बोलते हैं वो न्याय अगर तो आधा हो दे दो मुझे 15 ग्राम, अब कहते हैं हम तो इतने में से खुश हैं, हमको ज्यादा चाहिए था, चिराग पासवान पार्टी से हम लोगों को तो ज्यादा चाहिए था पर हम इतने ही में ही खुश हैं. So everybody is an equal player and there would be frictions. I'll not deny on your show. I'll be very candid about it. I'll be very honest about it. Seat sharing, she's sharing talks is a tough road to take, and people do want a larger share of pie, and that's why it's happening, and everybody is equal. As far as the chief ministerial candidate, it's on the parliament, it's on the legislative party members. They will decide who will be the face, and not just in TV debates and not just a call from Delhi would decide. The MLAs would decide when we form the government on 14th November. The MLAs would decide who would be the chief minister. Why so hue and cry about that? Just now, Mr. Bariyar mentioned the Gen Z, and I'm very
So it is not going to be Tejashwi Yadav as the face, consensus face.
Tejashwi Yadav is undisputed the biggest leader in the state, but let the chief minister be decided by the MLAs who are elected. It is the provision in the constitution. That's the legislative board decides who will be the chief
but
minister.
But Dr. Tripathi, I really want to understand this. Earlier there were reports, and it has gone beyond just friction, that Congress was not ready to lie low in just being okay with certain number of seats. It wanted a larger share in the pie. Of course, the ground reality in Bihar is completely different. You have to go with the RJD because you are in alliance with one of the biggest parties as far as opposition is concerned. So while that is still being looked at and deliberated, the reports did start to come in that Congress was ready to cede certain seats to the RJD. But this CM face still remains a bone of contention.
I'll be honest, we did an internal survey from our party, and we actually, made our both pros and cons list. We made an ABC kind of a categorization of seats, and we are putting that on table when the seat sharing negotiations are going on. And as far as Bihar in an alliance, we have to do an alliance. I think that's a very wrongly worded statement. We are in an alliance because we share the same ideology. We want the country to be free from the hateful and divisive politics of BJP, and that's the core ideology that Mahagathbandhan or the whole India Bloc Alliance stands on. It's not about seat sharing. So there would be, maybe we will return back happier, maybe we will return back a little disappointed by the seat sharing which will come out.
All right, Mr. Adhikari, I'd want your inputs on this. What do you make of every news that's come out as far as the seat sharing talks between the Mahagathbandhan parties are concerned and the NDA is concerned? If we make a tally, what Dr. Pooja is here trying to also say that alliance partners like Jitin Ram Manjhi for the NDA were made to lie low. In this case, Mahagathbandhan talks about equal players, equal partner, and that equal footing has not been given to all the alliance partners as far as NDA.
Who is the India bloc to say that on behalf of the BJP-led NDA faction? I don't understand. I mean, who has given the authority to talk on behalf of Jiten Ram Manjhi or Chirag Paswan what they internally feel? I mean, as far as I know, the BJP, along with the JDU as well as Mr. Manjhi and Chirag Paswan's party, they have already done their seat-sharing alliance. It's already out in the open, and it is now the India bloc which is taking umpteen amount of time, where elections are around the corner, and 14 November is the date for the new chief minister at the new government to form, and they're deciding their new chief minister. So it is the opposition, which is taking time, and because you are not able to arrive at a particular consensus, you are creating a particular theory that probably that person in the ruling party, a particular alliance partner, has been subdued or he has not been given his right share. First, at your own house and come out with your own listener. They are already done and dusted with that. They are going ahead with a complete power force as well as positivity to take the state ahead on the lines of the national development which has already taken place. India is going on to become the third largest economy in the world, and that can only happen because we are a federal state, Griya, where all states equally contribute to that particular faction.
Okay.
And it is the vision of the NDA government that a state like Bihar actually rises up in all its parameters, be it GDP or be its contribution to the center or be it any kind of tax collection.
Mr. Baria, is it true that you have skirted over the Jiten Ram Manjhi and Upendra Kushwaha factor, and that is done and dusted? Because 6-6 is where the tally holds, and that's the official number that we are also putting out, and that's how the seat sharing has gone forward as far as NDA is concerned, and nothing so far from the Mahagathbandhan.
You can see their tweet. In fact, the word was Sohadpur. So it was no friction, nothing. Every party got wherever there were strengths, so many things are.
But there was also a disgruntled tweet by Mr. Manjhi a day earlier, sir.
No. See, that is something which posturing is a part of our, public life, and that's something which is taken. But when it comes to active seat sharing, everybody understands that there is a common goal, and the common goal is to serve the people of Bihar and to ensure that the NDA comes back with something majority. But having said that, I would definitely say that I would, for the first time in this program, I would agree with Dr. Pooja that they have a common ideology with RJD, and that is the ideology of corruption.
Okay.
So good luck
All right,
to them.
let's see where this will play out. Let's see what happens and what comes out of the Mahagathbandhan meeting, because we are all waiting to hear from the Mahagathbandhan, the alliance partners, and particularly after this court observing and framing charges against Lalu Prasad Yadav and family. Let's see what happens. So I'd like to thank all my guests for joining me on the first debate on Plain Speak.